Okay, guys, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to be given some information on a sphere. And they're going to only tell us the actual volume. So the volume is 998.31. And they're going to ask us to find the radius. Okay? So is that enough information? So we have to figure that out. So let's take a look at the formula. So we have volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Let's not make this any more complicated than it needs to be. If the volume is equal to this, and if they give it to you in words and say the volume is this, that's no different than them actually just coming out and giving you what V is equal to. This amount represents the volume, so it gets substituted in place of V. So now you're going to have 998.31 replacing V. We have 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, these two are constants, so we're going to divide by 4/3 and pi. And over here, we're going to divide by 4/3 and pi. Now, for some of you, that's just like, wow, what am I supposed to do with that? So really, I would tell you to maybe do this step by step, okay? So that's what you would normally do. If you're feeling advanced, then you can do that, and I'll show you how to handle that off on the side in a couple of minutes. But let's pull up pi for a second, okay? We know that 4/3 divided by 4/3 is 1. So that all that's left now is pi and r and cube. And on this side, you're going to take your value, which is 998.31, and we're going to divide it by 4/3. And do it in fraction form on that calculator. So we have 748.7325. Okay? Now we'll divide both sides by pi. So we have r squared is equal to, so that's already value should be sitting in your calculator. So you'll divide it by your pi key. Notice not 3.14, like with the IXL, they're actually using a little bit more of the number. And you end up with 238.329569. And now what we're going to do is undo r cubed. We undo cubing with cubed rooting. We did this in the beginning of the year when we were working on cubes. They actually gave you the cube value, and we were trying to find an edge. So hopefully you'll remember that. In your calculator, you have to use that key, the inverse of the y raised to the x key. If you're using another calculator because you are not, maybe you left it at school or you just don't have it handy, then you'll just have to, take a look at it, or you can actually download your calculator. It's the TI 30XA or AX, sorry. And this gives us 6.200013606. And if it said round to the nearest tenth, then my radius would be 6.2. Now this is like a sphere, so this is a ball. So what are they saying? From dead center of that ball or sphere out to the outside of that ball is going to be 6.2 units, whether it's centimeters or meters or inches or whatever it is. All right, let's just go back to this step for a second, because some of you might want to make this move. Like there are some of you that have desires to kind of push this level a little bit. So I just want to show this to you. You can actually multiply by the reciprocal if you want here. Or you can just divide by 4/3 and pi together. Now remember, this is a complex fraction, but this is 1 and that is 1, and that will leave you with r cubed. And then when you go to do this, put this in your calculator and just remember to group that, whichever calculator you're using, okay? And you're still going to come to the very same amount, which is 238.32956.2. Just another way of looking at that one too, please. You will have, let me write the whole thing out, I'm sorry. 4/3 pi r cubed. You could multiply right here by 3/4 using the reciprocal, and then multiply here by 3/4. And that is another way to get going on that problem if you want to, okay? And then just multiply 3/4 times this and then divide by pi and finish out the rest in the same manner. All right, I'm gonna show you one more, which is your hemisphere. Let's say they give us the volume of the hemisphere and they tell us that it's 549.03, let's say inches, okay? And they want us to find the actual diameter of the base. So they want the diameter of the base. So now you have to think a little bit, like, what is this really? This is some sort of like half of a sphere, but it's actually 3D, right? So the diameter they're talking about is if you cut the ball in half and it was looking at you like this was the base of their cut, then they're asking for this distance, all right? So if you take your sphere, your 3D sphere, and you cut it in half and you turn it towards your face, you would see this, they're looking for that. So let's see what we do. They give us the volume. That's 2/3 pi r cubed. The volume they gave us is 549.03. Okay. And then you have 2/3 pi r cubed. So this time I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/2. I'm going to use the reciprocal. I'm going to multiply this by 3/2 too. And a lot of you have command of that as well. You guys know how to multiply numbers by fractions with your calculators. And that is now 823.545 equal to pi r cubed. Okay, I'll divide by pi now. And I'm going to have r cubed is equal to, I will now divide by pi, and you will get 262.1425152. We undo cubing with cube rooting. So we need that little 3 in there, right? So we're going to take care of the cubed root, and we're going to get a radius of 6.399987917. And let's round the radius after round the diameter after we double it. So let's leave this in the calculator and let's double it. And so what I'm getting is 12.7999583. That's my diameter. And if I want to round it to the nearest tenth, it's going to be 12.8. And that's going to be our inches. Okay. All right, so what are we going to do? So now what we're going to do is this. I am going to